Hello, my amazing learners, and welcome back to the Wisdom English podcast. My name is Sarah, and I am absolutely delighted to be your guide today on this deep dive into mastering the art of learning English. This channel is dedicated to sharing effective learning methods for those seeking true English fluency. If you don't want to miss out on future valuable insights, consider subscribing for free and turning on the notification bell. Today, we are embarking on a comprehensive exploration of how to learn English effectively. For many, this journey can feel long, lonely, and sometimes frustrating. But I am here to assure you that it can also be incredibly fun, deeply engaging, and wonderfully successful if we approach it with the right mindset, the right strategies, and the right tools. I want to share a little about my own journey. When I first started learning a new language, I remember that distinct feeling of being overwhelmed. The mountain of vocabulary and grammar seemed impossibly high. But over time, through trial and error, I discovered a series of habits that made all the difference. These are not complex academic theories, but simple, practical, daily actions that build upon each other, creating a powerful momentum. So, instead of just giving you a long, unstructured list of tips, I've organized today's masterclass into a few key themes. Think of these as the pillars that will support your house of fluency. We will take a deep dive into each one. First, the 4 core skills that form the foundation. Then, the secrets to actively building your vocabulary. Next, the transformative power of immersion. After that, the crucial importance of developing a strong learner's mindset. And finally, the art of making learning a joyful habit. Are you ready to build your personal roadmap to fluency? Let's begin. Theme 1. The foundation, the 4 core skills. Every language is built upon 4 fundamental skills: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. You can think of them as the 4 legs of a table. If one leg is weak, the whole table becomes unstable. To become a well-rounded and confident English speaker, we must give each of these skills dedicated attention. Listening. The gateway to understanding. The very first and most essential skill is listening. Think about how a baby learns its first language. They spend months and months just listening, absorbing the sounds, rhythms, and intonations around them long before they utter their first word. Listening truly builds the foundation for everything else. When you make a commitment to listen to English every single day, you are doing something amazing for your brain. You are training your ear to recognize new sounds, to distinguish between similar words, and to understand the natural flow and music of the language. When I was first learning, I remember feeling so intimidated. The words sounded like a fast, jumbled mess. But I made a promise to myself to listen to something in English every day. I started with simple stories and songs. Day by day, that jumbled mess started to separate into distinct words. The sounds became familiar. And as my understanding grew, my fear began to fade away. So, how can you practice listening effectively? Don't just put on the TV in the background. Practice active listening. This means paying close attention. Try this. Listen to a short audio clip or a song verse. Then pause it and try to repeat what you heard out loud. This is called shadowing, and it's fantastic for your pronunciation. You can also try transcribing what you hear, writing down the words. This forces you to listen very carefully. Find podcasts made for English learners, watch TED Talks on subjects you love, or listen to audiobooks. The key is to find content that you find genuinely interesting. When you enjoy what you're listening to, it stops feeling like a chore and starts feeling like entertainment. Reading, your window to a wider world. Next, let's talk about the incredible power of reading. Reading is a fantastic way to expand your vocabulary in context and to see how grammar rules are applied in real sentences. It's your window into the structure and richness of the English language. If you're a beginner, don't feel like you have to pick up a dense novel. Start with simple materials. Graded readers are books that are specially written for different learning levels. Children's books are also a wonderful resource. The language is straightforward and the pictures provide valuable context clues that help you understand the story. As you progress, you can move on to news articles written for learners, blogs about your hobbies, or the lyrics to your favorite English songs. As you read, you don't just learn the meaning of new words. You learn how they connect with other words to form ideas. I vividly remember reading a very simple story about a lost cat. It wasn't a literary masterpiece, but I was so proud of myself for finishing it, and I was amazed at how many new practical words I picked up. The more you read, the more you'll notice patterns in the language, and the more your own speaking and writing will improve as a result. Make reading a cozy, enjoyable part of your day. Grab a cup of tea, find a comfortable chair, and get lost in an English story. Writing, organizing your thoughts. Of course, we can't just consume the language through listening and reading. We must also learn to produce it. This brings us to the essential skill of writing. Writing is a powerful tool because it forces you to slow down, organize your thoughts, and actively use the vocabulary and grammar you've learned. It's where you put theory into practice. Many learners feel intimidated by writing, but you can start very small. The most effective way to begin is by keeping a daily journal in English. You don't have to write a long essay. Just write a few sentences about your day. What did you do? What did you eat? How are you feeling? You can write about your family, your hobbies, your dreams, anything at all. The goal is simply to get into the habit of expressing yourself in English. When I was learning, I had a small, cheap notebook that became my English journal. I wrote in it every single day without fail. Looking back at my first entries, they were full of short, simple sentences and lots of mistakes. But as the weeks and months went by, I could see my sentences getting longer and more complex. I could see my confidence growing on the page. Yes, I made countless mistakes, but those mistakes were my teachers. They showed me what I needed to learn next. So please, don't worry about being perfect. Just start writing, speaking, giving your knowledge a voice. Finally, we arrive at the skill that is often the biggest hurdle and the ultimate goal for many learners. Speaking. You can have a perfect understanding of grammar and a huge vocabulary, but if you can't use it in a conversation, you'll always feel like something is missing. The old saying, "Practice makes perfect," is absolutely true when it comes to speaking. You must find opportunities to speak English every day, even if it's just to yourself in the mirror at first. Talk about your plans for the day. Describe the room you're in. Read a passage from a book out loud. The physical act of forming the words with your mouth builds muscle memory and confidence. And I cannot say this enough. Please, do not be afraid of making mistakes. Mistakes are not failures. They are evidence that you are trying. They are stepping stones on the path to fluency. Everyone who has ever learned a new language has made thousands of them. If you have friends who speak English, ask them to practice with you. If you don't, the internet is an amazing resource. There are countless websites and apps where you can find language exchange partners, people from all over the world who want to learn your language and help you with English. I had a friend who was a fluent speaker, and our daily conversations were, without a doubt, one of the most valuable parts of my learning journey. Sometimes I would stumble over my words or use the wrong tense, but she would correct me gently and patiently. That real-time feedback was priceless. So please, find someone to talk to, step out of your comfort zone, and give your English knowledge a voice. Theme 2. Actively building your vocabulary toolkit. Having a wide vocabulary is essential for expressing yourself with precision and color. But learning new words can feel like trying to fill a leaky bucket. You pour new words in, and the old ones seem to leak out. The key is to move from being a passive learner to an active learner. Here are the tools for your vocabulary toolkit. The dictionary, your best friend. Your first and most reliable tool is a good dictionary. A dictionary is so much more than just a list of words. It is your guide to understanding the nuances of the language. When you encounter a new word while reading or listening, don't just skip over it or guess its meaning from context. Be an active learner. Take a moment to look it up, but don't stop there. A good dictionary will give you the definition, the pronunciation, often with an audio clip, different forms of the word noun, verb, adjective, and, most importantly, example sentences. Pay close attention to these example sentences. They show you how the word is used naturally in a real context. I used to carry a small pocket dictionary with me everywhere I went. In today's world, you have powerful dictionary apps right on your phone. Make it a habit. Every time you find a new word, look it up, understand it, and then try to complete the next step. Make it your own. Creating personal sentences. This is the step that truly anchors a new word in your brain. Once you understand a word, you must make it your own by creating your own sentences with it. Don't just repeat the example sentence from the dictionary. Create sentences that are personal, meaningful, or even a little bit funny or strange, because emotion and personal connection are powerful memory aids. When I learned the word magnificent, I didn't just write it down. I went around all day using it in my own sentences. The sunset was magnificent. This sandwich tastes magnificent. My cat is magnificent. It might sound silly, but this active usage helped to forge a strong connection in my mind. The more you actively use a new word, the more it becomes a part of your working vocabulary, ready for you to use in conversation. Flashcards and spaced repetition. Flashcards are a classic but scientifically proven method for memorization. The simple act of writing a word on one side of a card and its definition on the other begins the learning process. But to make them truly powerful, you should use them with a system of spaced repetition. Spaced repetition is the idea that you review information at increasing intervals. You review a new, difficult word more often, and an older, easier word less often. This is far more efficient than reviewing everything all the time. You can do this manually with a set of physical flashcards, or you can use powerful apps like Anki or Quizlet that have spaced repetition systems, SRS, built right in. These apps will automatically show you the right word at the right time to maximize your memory. I used flashcards constantly. I reviewed them on the bus, while waiting in line for coffee, and for a few minutes before bed. This consistent, spaced review is the secret to combating the leaky bucket of forgetting. Theme 3. The transformative power of immersion. Immersion means creating an English-speaking environment for yourself, even if you don't live in an English-speaking country. It's about surrounding yourself with the language so that it becomes a natural and unavoidable part of your daily life. This is how you can accelerate your learning exponentially. Your digital world in English. One of the easiest and most effective ways to start is to change the language settings on all your devices, your phone, your computer, your social media accounts to English. Think about how many times you look at your phone each day. Every time you unlock it, check a notification, or open an app, you'll be interacting with English vocabulary. At first, it might feel a bit challenging or slow you down, but I promise you will get used to it very quickly. This simple change transforms a device you use for distraction into a powerful, constant learning tool. Entertainment as education, TV, movies, and videos. This is perhaps the most enjoyable part of immersion. Watching English videos, TV shows, and movies is a fantastic way to learn. You get to hear the language as it's spoken by native speakers in a huge variety of situations. You'll pick up on natural slang, common idioms, cultural references, and different accents. For beginners, starting with cartoons or children's shows can be very helpful because the language is often clearer and simpler. As you advance, you can move on to your favorite TV series or movies. Here's a tip about subtitles. Try to watch with English subtitles, not subtitles in your native language. This connects the sounds you are hearing with the words you are seeing, which reinforces both your listening and reading skills. Eventually, the ultimate goal is to be able to watch without any subtitles at all. I remember the first time I watched an entire movie in English and understood everything without subtitles. It was a huge milestone and made me feel incredibly proud. Your personal soundtrack, podcasts, and radio. Don't underestimate the power of audio. Listening to English podcasts and radio is a great way to immerse yourself while you're doing other things: commuting, exercising, cooking, or cleaning. You can find podcasts on literally any topic that interests you, from comedy and history to science, business, or storytelling. When you listen to something you're passionate about, it feels effortless. Even if you don't understand 100% of what's being said, just having the sound of the language in your ears helps you get used to its rhythm, speed, and intonation. At first, it might just sound like background noise, but over time, your brain will start to pick out more and more words and phrases. It's a low-pressure way to get a huge amount of listening practice. The inner monologue. Thinking in English. This is a slightly more advanced but incredibly powerful immersion technique. As you become more comfortable with the language, make a conscious effort to start thinking in English. This means turning your inner monologue, the little voice inside your head, into an English voice. Start small. As you're walking down the street, try to describe what you see in English in your mind. That is a tall glass building. A woman is walking a small brown dog. The sun feels warm today. At first, you might find yourself translating from your native language, and that's okay. But with consistent practice, you'll start to form thoughts directly in English. This is a game changer because it means you are practicing and reinforcing the language constantly, in every waking moment, even when you are completely alone. Theme 4. Developing a strong learner's mindset. All the strategies and techniques in the world will not work if you don't have the right mindset. Your attitude, your beliefs about yourself, and your emotional resilience are just as important as your study habits. This is the psychological foundation of your success. Patience. The marathon, not the sprint. First and foremost, you must cultivate patience. Learning a new language is a marathon, not a sprint. It simply does not happen overnight. There will be days and even weeks where you feel like you are stuck on a plateau, not making any visible progress. This is a normal and natural part of the process for every single language learner. During these times, it's crucial to be patient with yourself and trust the process. Remind yourself that as long as you are doing something in English each day, you are moving forward, even if you can't see it yet. Don't give up just before the next breakthrough. Positivity. Your attitude is your fuel. Your attitude has a tremendous impact on your ability to learn. You must nurture a positive outlook. Believe in yourself and your capacity to become fluent. When you feel down, frustrated, or overwhelmed, take a moment to pause and remind yourself why you started this journey. Is it to travel? To get a better job? To connect with new people? Keeping your ultimate goal in mind can provide powerful fuel. I had many moments where I felt like quitting, but I would actively tell myself, I can do this. I am capable. That positive self-talk made a world of difference in helping me push through difficult patches. Embracing mistakes, your greatest teachers. This is a big one. You must fundamentally change your relationship with mistakes. Please do not be afraid to make mistakes. In many school systems, we are taught that mistakes are bad and should be avoided. But in language learning, mistakes are not failures. They are beautiful, essential, and valuable learning opportunities. A mistake is simply a signal from your brain telling you, this is something we don't quite understand yet. It's a signpost showing you exactly where you need to focus your attention. Everyone who is now a fluent speaker of a second language has made thousands upon thousands of mistakes to get there. So when you make one, don't feel embarrassed. Feel curious. Learn from it and know that you are one step closer to mastery. Setting goals. Your personal roadmap. To stay focused and motivated on a long journey, you need a map. Setting clear goals provides that map. Goals give you direction and something concrete to work towards. The key is to start with small, specific, and manageable goals. Instead of a vague goal like, I want to be fluent, set a small goal like, this week I will learn 10 new words related to cooking, or this month, I will finish reading one short story in English. When you achieve these small goals, you get a wonderful sense of accomplishment and a boost of motivation. It shows you that you are making real progress. Celebrating progress. Acknowledging your wins. And when you achieve one of those goals, no matter how small, you must celebrate your progress. This is a step that many learners skip, but it is so important for long-term motivation. Learning can be hard work, and celebrating your wins makes the journey enjoyable. Did you have a 5-minute conversation in English? Celebrate. Did you understand a movie scene without subtitles? Celebrate. How you celebrate is up to you. Treat yourself to a piece of your favorite cake, watch a movie, or just take a moment to feel proud of yourself. This positive reinforcement creates a cycle of motivation that keeps you excited about learning. Focus on your own journey, avoid comparison. In our hyper-connected world, it's so easy to fall into the trap of comparing yourself to others. You might see someone on social media who seems to be learning much faster than you are, and it can make you feel discouraged. Please, resist this temptation. Everyone learns at a different pace. Everyone has different strengths, weaknesses, and amounts of time they can dedicate to learning. Your journey is your own. The only person you should be competing with is the person you were yesterday. Focus on your own progress, celebrate your own achievements, and stay in your own lane. Theme 5. Making learning a joyful habit. The final theme is perhaps the most transformative. If you can find ways to make your learning process genuinely enjoyable, you will never have to worry about motivation again. When something is fun, we naturally want to do it more. Play and learn. The power of games. One of the best ways to make learning fun is to play games in English. There are thousands of apps and websites with word games, puzzles, quizzes, and even story-based adventures that are designed to teach you English. When you are playing a game, your brain is relaxed and engaged, which is the optimal state for learning. You absorb vocabulary and grammar without even realizing you're studying. I used to play word games with my friends, and it was a fun, competitive way to expand my vocabulary. The music of language. Singing songs. Don't forget the power of music. Singing songs in English is a fantastic tool. Music is emotional and memorable, which helps words and phrases stick in your mind. Singing also helps you practice the rhythm, stress, and intonation of English in a natural way. You can look up the lyrics, sing along with your favorite artists, and learn new vocabulary at the same time. It's a joyful activity that will boost your mood and your language skills. Unleash your imagination. Be creative. Tap into your creative side. Learning doesn't have to be purely academic. Use your imagination. You can draw pictures or little cartoons to help you remember new words. You could try writing short poems or funny stories using your new vocabulary. When you engage the creative part of your brain, you create stronger, more unique memory pathways. This makes learning more personal and far more effective than just memorizing lists. Conclusion. The final, uniting key. As we come to the end of this comprehensive guide, I want you to take a moment and look back at the roadmap we've built. We've covered so much, from strengthening the 4 core skills of listening, reading, writing, and speaking, to actively building your vocabulary toolkit, immersing yourself in an English environment, and, crucially, nurturing a patient, positive, and resilient learner's mindset. Each of these themes is a powerful pillar that will support your journey. But now, as I promised, I want to share that final, crucial tip. The single most important key that connects all of these habits and brings them to life is joy. You must, above all, find joy in the process of learning. This is not just a nice idea, it is a strategic necessity. When you find joy in what you are doing, you will never have to force yourself to study. You will naturally want to do it. So, how do you find this joy? You find it by aligning your learning with your passions. Learn about topics you genuinely love. Read books that you can't put down. Listen to music that makes you want to get up and dance. Watch movies that make you laugh or cry. Talk to people whose conversations excite you. When you connect English to the things that already light you up, it ceases to be a subject you have to study and becomes a tool for experiencing more of what you love. That is the secret. Don't just learn English. Use English to live a more interesting, more connected, and more joyful life. When you do that, fluency is no longer a distant destination. It becomes the natural outcome of a wonderful journey. Now, I would love to hear from you. After this deep dive, what is the one theme from today's lesson that you are most excited to focus on this week? Will it be building your core skills, creating an immersion bubble, or strengthening your mindset? Share your commitment in the comments below. Let's support and inspire each other as we grow together on this incredible journey. Please like, share, and subscribe to the Wisdom English podcast channel to watch our next videos. Thank you for being part of this wonderful and comprehensive journey with me. Keep learning, keep growing, And most importantly, keep shining.